I have had adversarial difficulties with reporters, and in fact we have there was one reporter who we just basically cut off, and the only comment material that she would be able to get would be from the actual Board of Supervisors meetings in open session. We did not grant any interviews. She went over the line several times, not following protocol and contacting our office, contacting the supervisor's wife, which was absolutely forbidden. She is not in politics and has nothing to do with the county or anything, and to call her at home, just a number of things, and so we just cut her off. There are two or three others who basically are unofficially cut off right now.
I feel like I'm one of those.
No, you're not.
You never send me any love anymore, John.
Well, let me share something that this is what I have to contend with. JW was on KPBS on July 30th, 2010, and in the transcript he said that this is a quote: "Bill controls his little fiefdom up there and does what he wants, and the administrative end of the county will not putz with him." In talking about the grant Bill gave to Life Perspectives for a fundraising run, JW said, "It's like Hitler Youth as a fundraiser, and they have a run, and the run is Hitler Youth Run, and they raise money, and then they're able to fund the Hitler Youth Group." That's a direct quote. Later, the talk is about the Neighborhood Reinvestment Fund, and JW gets it mixed up with the federal Community Development Block Grant money. He then returns to the county nonprofit grant fund and says, quote, "Horn would be spending time at Boron if he had done this with federal money." Boron is a federal prison up near Victorville.
I know I got that right.
Now, few people listen or watch KPBS, and in fact in the North County the signal breaks up there, so that wasn't the point. In this same interview, and you can shoot your mouth off and be with all of your love chums there on KPBS, Gloria Penner and all of that ilk, but JW praised Jeff McDonald with the UT for doing a real good story about the Green Oak Ranch Ministries, and JW criticized the grant funds that were going to the Big Band Bash. And he said it was a fundraiser for the church, and you ought to know that that's not a church. Green Oak is not a church. It's on a large acreage in the middle of Vista, and it treats drug and alcohol addiction. So that's just some of what.
But isn't the proof in the pudding? Didn't you guys back off from that?
We have to contend with that.
Oh, I understand.
And you know, take your best shot. But when you associate with the Hitler Youth and all of this is just going over the line. How do we counter this thing? And I don't want to monopolize this, but let me share with what we do. We have on our website, and I give 3 examples of what we do, is that, by the way, most of the supervisors' responses now are in written form. We grant very few actual phone interviews or live on-camera interviews.
Why?
The reason being is that especially on the print interviews, what is printed is what has been said, and so when we have an actual statement, then we at least know what he in fact said.
But when you're recorded, on radio or television, that is your actual statement.
You know that you can edit things in a way that suits your needs. I've been there, and I know that.
No, you haven't. You haven't been it for 29 years. What I'm saying is, if it's a recorded statement, it is your actual statement. You can't make them misstate something, even if you shorten the body.
You're right, Bob. But the lead-in of your narration and the lead-out and all places that in a different context. Believe me, I know how it works. I've been out of the business for a long time.
Wouldn't a newspaper do also the same thing?
But things haven't changed. What we do is that we do have a on the website, for instance, we did an anatomy of an error, and we just had a timeline. We had a diary of the fire. I think one of the worst things that is happening in the print business is the blogs. And I know the North County Times has tried to tighten up in terms of identifying people. But we had someone, and the North County Times printed it, that Bill was playing golf while the fires were going on. And so we had to put out a timeline of exactly where he was when the fires were going on. So that's just how we're able to counter what we believe is inaccurate and unfair treatment.